Volkswagen is getting on the hybrid bandwagon with their all-new Jetta hybrid. I've driven other Jettas and been impressed, but what will I think of this one? Let's find out. From a distance, it's pretty hard to tell that this is the Jetta hybrid. But move a bit closer and the blue badges give it away. It's pretty hard to fault the Jetta's exterior design. It's a nice looking sedan that's easily recognizable as both a VW and a Jetta. Inside you'll find that it also looks like many of its brethren. Of course, this being a hybrid, there are some differences. The seats have both manual and automatic controls. I like the two-tone look, and they are very comfortable as well. The armrest/storage is on the small side, but open it up and there is adequate room. Moving forward, you get two cup holders, which I usually use as storage. The automatic DSG transmission can also be shifted manually. Just forward of that is the start button, which is a little quirky in that position. Over here, you have your E mode, which is basically an all-electric mode, which the Jetta can do for about a mile. The dual-zone climate control is straightforward and easy to use and control. There's additional storage down here, also a charger and an auxiliary in. The infotainment screen houses a car setting, and that lets you look at the energy flow, driving data, and also your emissions. Of course, you can also control the radio and the media, also your satellite phone and setup settings. If you do want to use the media, hook up your smarter iPhone, that's in the glove box. Exclusive to the hybrid is this gauge right here, and that one shows you your charge and eco settings. On the high end, there's also boost. The speedometer and fuel gauge look similar to other Jettas, as does this middle information screen here, which you can control right on the steering wheel. There's also Bluetooth right on the steering wheel, and just behind it, your cruise control. All in all, it's a simple, well laid out interior, and I think it also looks good too. Out back, you get a little storage in the door, also a speaker. The two-tone look is carried over here, and you also get your own charger here and door locks too. You can pull the armrest down for two more cup holders and also a trunk pass-through. Now, one major difference between this Jetta, the hybrid, and other Jettas is of course the battery, and that sits right here, so it does infringe on trunk space a little bit, but overall not too much. Still is a large trunk. Powering the Jetta is a 1.4-liter turbocharged four-cylinder that produces 150 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. The torque peaks between 1,400 and 3,500 RPMs for nice acceleration. That engine is combined with a 27 horsepower, 20 kilowatt electric motor. 0 to 60 takes 9 seconds, and fuel economy is rated at 45 miles per gallon overall. So pricing for the Jetta hybrid starts out at just a tick under $26,000 and goes all the way up to just under $32,000 depending on the options you select. And the entry price really puts it squarely in competition with cars like the Civic hybrid and the Insight hybrid from Honda, and also, of course, the Kia Optima hybrid and the Hyundai Sonata hybrid and the Toyota Prius hybrid, of course. Now, the Toyota Prius hybrid and the two Hondas are sort of hatchbacks, so they win the battle with being able to carry larger things. You can fold down the seats and carry furniture or whatever. But in terms of just a normal sedan and I guess driving, I would say that the Kia and the Hyundai and definitely this Jetta here are the more drivable cars in terms of speed and handling and that sort of thing. To me, what the Jetta really brings to the table is a good balance of that handling and fuel economy. 45 miles per gallon is definitely impressive, but yet it doesn't feel that much different than the normal Jetta. And that to me is a good thing, because the Jetta in any form is a very drivable car. I love the Jetta GLI for its incredible handling, and just the normal Jetta is a great all-around car. It's fun to drive, offers a good balance of comfort and luxury, and it's well equipped. It also comes at a very fair price, of course. It's the people's car. It's interesting to watch as you go up and down the hill which way the energy is flowing. Either you're using the engine or you're using or charging the batteries. And at the same time on the tachometer here, you can check out how high you're revving and what zone the car is in terms of the charge. Down low here, of course, you're charging. Eco means that you're not charging, but you're kind of in an equilibrium state. And then, of course, if you want to get into the boost range, go ahead and put it into sport, and that's where you'll get the most power. Now, if you want to shift it yourself, just go ahead and slide it over, and you can do that. You'll see that I'm in 7th gear there. Now I'm down into 6th. So down to 5th, 4th, 3rd. Won't let me go to 2nd. 3rd's got a lot of power. Very high revving, torquey engine. Sounds nice. Definitely does not sound like a hybrid. Now the Jetta hybrid is still a Jetta at heart. What's that mean? Well, it means German engineering. It means that the Germans care about taking a turn, and it shows. And every Jetta that you drive does actually feel nice. Call it Fahrvergnügen, call it whatever you want, but it's engineered well. It handles the turn well. It feels like it can handle curves with much more engine than the hybrid can throw at the suspension. And that's a good thing. That means good handling, and that means predictable handling. To see it revving that high and hanging on this well, you really have to check yourself and say, hey, am I really in a hybrid? While the Jetta hybrid does basically feel like other Jettas when you're driving it, the regenerative braking does feel pretty heavy at first. Maybe more so than perhaps a Toyota Prius. So basically when you're slowing down or just when you're driving, there's always a drag on the car. It's basically like when you were a kid and you used to ride a bike with a generator light. Same principle, that's how hybrids work. But you do get used to it, and the braking on the Jetta hybrid is very good. So checking out the night look of the dash on the Jetta hybrid here, and I'm not a big fan of red, but I do like this display right here on the infotainment screen, and also the gauge cluster. Very nice there. But certainly everything's illuminated well and easy to see at night. I also like the way that they've changed the presets a bit, and now you also have 24 presets instead of 18. Now I've tested many Mazdas, and of course I've tested many Volkswagens too, like the TDI Beetle recently, and that was amazingly fun to drive. That turbo diesel has a lot of power and great mileage too, not quite as good as the hybrid here, but still very good. And you know, the Mazdas I've driven and reviewed, you can look for all these reviews elsewhere, but Mazda, just kind of like Alfa Romeo, you know. I've rented Alfa Romeos throughout Europe, and always one thing was for sure. No matter how bad the rest of the car was, the engine and the transmission were simply amazing, just the sound it made. And you know, like Alfa Romeo, like Mazda, and like Volkswagen, and recently also like Toyota and Lexus, they're starting to care more and more how their cars feel to drive. And this Jetta really is fun. I mean, to watch it rev all the way up, and to know that you're still getting 45 miles per gallon, well, whatever it is, Fahrvergnügen or otherwise, I feel good. This is definitely a good car. And at 45 miles per gallon, it doesn't have to be a boring car to drive too. If everybody in America, and of course even throughout the world, were driving a car like this, our whole world dependency on oil would drop significantly. If you need something larger, sure, have that too. If you need super exotic sports car, hey, I understand you. You can drive that too, but you can drive this most of the time for most of your commuting, and could all save the world together. So the question remains, do I like this Jetta hybrid just as much or more than the other Jettas? And actually, in one big way, I do like it more. 45 times more. Well, 45 miles per gallon anyway. And I think that number is very important. you know, you're not sacrificing that much with the hybrid. Okay, it does not handle like the Jetta GLI. No, it doesn't. The Jetta GLI is an amazing sports sedan, but that's not what this Jetta is all about. This Jetta is all about getting good fuel economy, saving the environment, and for that, it does a very good job. And to me, you do not have to sacrifice all that much to go ahead and get 45 miles per gallon. This Jetta feels like a lot of the other Jettas. And in fact, in many cases, you can't really tell the difference. And that's a good thing. That means the engineers did a great job. So in the end, with this Jetta hybrid, it still is pretty quick. It feels quicker than it is. It's one of those rare cars that does that. So 45 miles per gallon and no sacrifice that you can really tell unless you're a real enthusiast and really need a car like the GLI or even the GTI. I'm definitely impressed with the Jetta hybrid. I'm Drivin Ivan Katz.